Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sadie Walters, and I'm Head of Production at Clarion Gaming, and I'm going to be chairing today's IGB webinar. We're delighted to be hosting a webinar with crypto processing by CoinsPay today, discussing 5 common prejudices against crypto payments. Our presenter today will be Max Crupyshev. I'll let him introduce himself fully in just a moment. There will be a Q&A section following the presentation, so please do submit questions as we go along, and we'll try to address as many of them as possible in the allocated time. And with that, I'm going to pass over to Max.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today for this webinar. So I plan to start speaking about myself from the slide number 3. So let's start from that, and then we go further. Yeah, so my name is Max Crupyshev. I am been with cryptocurrency for a long time. So cryptocurrency as a concept appeared in 2009. I joined in 13. Here on the timeline, you can see it was even a few years before Ethereum was launched. I was working with mining, with wallets, with exchanges, with marketplaces, and for the last 6 years, I'm working with payments. So my specialization is payments in cryptocurrency. So, so now that we know each other, I would assume that most of you came here to know more about how to accept crypto in an effective way, how to improve your flows, or how to start accepting cryptocurrency. So I prepared a small presentation for you, which I believe will explain all the questions that you would like to clarify on this meeting. All the questions which I didn't cover, in your opinion, feel free to post in the chat, and we will answer them in the end. So the contents as follows, right? You already know who I am, so we will start from what is CoinsPay. I will tell you a bit how the industry and our company was involved in 2020. I think you're all curious what happened with payments in crypto because of the COVID, of the lockdowns, and the growth of internet business, online business, e-commerce, and so on. I will tell you how to choose the right payment gateway. We'll try not to sound very salesy on that slide. We will discuss what are the main things in crypto payment flow, what values cryptocurrencies bring to business, what are the risks and how to stay safe, and we'll share you some tricks which will help your business to grow in this space. So CoinsPay, right? So who are we? So this webinar, as was mentioned, is hosted by cryptoprocessing.com. This is our flagship brand, B2B. It involves few things, right? It's the processing, it's the exchange, and it's the wallet for business. So it helps to automate all the business flows. We have CoinsPay Wallet, which is B2C business where customers can buy, sell cryptocurrency. We have OTC Desk for bigger deals. We have Hot Wallet, which is more like technical solution for different businesses who want to work with cryptocurrency and provide services with cryptocurrency, but they don't want to deal with the difficulties of cryptocurrency. So it's basically already a very quick and easy connection to the cryptocurrency ecosystem. We have Explorer, which shows all the internal transactions between our customers. And White Label is basically the business which we do for different business owners or entrepreneurs who'd like to start similar business to ours, but don't want to invest in the infrastructure just yet, or doesn't plan to do this as it is, right? So it's more like a franchise even. So we give the set of rules, the set of recommendations, and so on. So that is what we've been doing all these years. Our 2020 numbers, I will now read and explain all of them. I just wanted to let you know that we are right now the biggest one in iGaming, and these numbers prove that we are relatively big in this space, and that is why I think that I have the right to tell you some things which I find important about this space. Yeah, so 2020 been extremely active. So we grew 3 times in employees. We increased our monthly volumes 5 times. we started working remotely from the middle of March, so it's completely remote team. We processed 1 billion euros in 2020, which is a good achievement for us. We got this 1 billion euros in 2.6 million transactions processed. It's slightly more, but still this number indicates it clearly. We invested a lot in R&D and security measures and security audits, increasing the scalability of the system, stability of the system, and so on. As mentioned already, number one in iGaming market. We have some other industries as well, but as we are speaking here right now on IGB, I would assume that majority of you are somehow connected with iGaming. In 2020, we of course had a lot of fun, and we grew number of clients basically from 40 to 400. So the majority of 2019 we spent preparing the product, developing the product, developing the processes within the company. So we were not so heavily involved in the business development in previous years. 2021 plans, I will just quickly share, because you might be not so interested in our plans, right? But it's basically help more businesses. We have an amazing roadmap, a lot of the features which will help our merchants and potentially clients of our merchants as well. So we will launch the wallet. We will add more payment methods to the wallet, improve the speed and scalability of transactions, sell few more white labels because we see the interest in the market. We will streamline a lot of internal flows because when the team grows quickly, you don't always have the time to do it immediately as it happens. And invest a lot in the team knowledge and expertise by a lot of the online courses. We hope 2021 would be a bit more chilled than 20, but as it started, I'm not sure in this completely, but let's hope for the best. Now we go with the slides finally. So how to choose a gateway? So any journey that the business will start with is basically select the company with whom you will go with. Some companies think that they might develop the whole infrastructure on their own. I would say in the beginning, this is a very bad idea because a lot of the things in cryptocurrency might seem easier than they are. You have to understand that I don't know how many of you know cryptocurrency inside out, but cryptocurrency is not so trivial, right? The whole concept is not entirely trivial, and the whole idea that cryptocurrency is not a company, is a technology, so you cannot always find the best ways of integrations and so on. So it's more of try, make mistakes, and do again better, right? So for anyone who starts, usually you start with the gateway provider. So how to choose a gateway? I have some notes here to give you the better idea. So I would say one of the most important ones is the time on the market, right? So as it is the reason of the things that I just said before, that it takes some time to master. Time on the market, then the license, it gives you already some trust that somebody already checked them, right? That at least this company exists and it was able to submit the policies to receive the license. Is the size. So the best way, of course, to select the provider to see with whom your competitors work, right? And just see with whom big players on the market work. These are the flows, so you have to see how the flows are. We will speak a lot about flows on this webinar, but you just have to see how flows are working on the merchants' websites, right? Where it is integrated. So you have to see that it is very native, very quick, doesn't have a lot of selectors, questions, and so on. It's instant transactions. Cryptocurrency is not instant by design. So some providers do solve this riddle, some of them don't. Please make sure you work with the ones who provide instant features. And the fees would be the last one. Basically, there is practice on the market. The fees are usually around 1%. If you are offered much less, that might be suspicious. If you offered much more, this just might be not fair. And also fees a lot depend on the exchange rate. Some providers can say that they offer you 0 fees, but then they will cheat on the exchange rates for cryptocurrency. So because of, in the majority of the cases, accepting cryptocurrency means exchanging them immediately into fiat. If you don't plan to do exchange into dollars, USDT, GBP, then fees would be fair from the start. Okay, my presentation. Okay, here I just wanted to show you one small example how crypto processing can work on your website. I selected one of the best examples, but right now the case is that I am in Indonesia, where I cannot open BitStar's website. So I will quickly show you the. I just remember that I closed the browser. So if you like, we will quickly do it. It will not consume a lot of time. No, I didn't close the browser. So you see my screen right now. Because I cannot open the website, I will just show you the video which we recorded on 24th of December. So it's very fresh. This is just to give you the feeling of how cryptocurrency processing works on the real website, so you have the idea of what we are really speaking about. I will just switch on the video, we'll switch on the sound, and we'll explain you what is happening. Right, so this is the production website of the beatstars.com. I selected them because they have a lot of the customers, and usually ratings are good. So you click on Bitcoin on the payment screen, and you immediately see the address. Right, you see the amount of clicks was minimum. It actually was 2. Select to pay and select Bitcoin. So here you already can see the QR with the address where you need to send this amount of Bitcoin to receive $20. Here in the corner, you can see me basically showing that I'm sending money from my wallet at the moment. Right, this video is just now playing. Right, I don't click any buttons to stop it and so on. So I enter the 2FA on my phone, right? I click send, and you will see when I start speaking on the small picture, right? So I started speaking, so that means that I already sent the money, and now we're waiting for the transaction to arrive. I think it took around 6 seconds or something. It was real time. So you see the green notification informs right now that the deposit arrived of 1994. Right, it was probably the spike of the price at that moment or so on. But six cents is not a biggie anyways. All cryptocurrency players are used to. And just right now, to prove that the deposit worked, I will just refresh the page. In this example, the page is not refreshed automatically for some reason, but notification for deposit is there. We just wait another second. I refresh the page, and you see the number updated. So that is how you can deposit the slowest cryptocurrency. Why I say the slowest one, because Bitcoin in the list of all the cryptocurrencies is probably the slowest one, because it is the oldest, and unfortunately, because of its decentralization, it is not so easy to update it right now. But we will speak about selection of cryptocurrency slightly later during this webinar. So yeah, there was the quick demo. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to do it live because it's blocked here, and I didn't want to bother with the VPNs during the webinar. So accepting cryptocurrency best practices. Now we go to the most interesting point of the webinar. So the most obvious thing is, of course, less clicks. It might sound obvious, and it is, but you would be surprised. I spoke with some people who told me that, oh, you know, we are not interested in accepting cryptocurrency because our users just don't want it. I don't know how socially distant are you right now, but you probably saw the whole hype which started in 2020 and even became more in the end of 2020, in the beginning of this year, when the cryptocurrency was growing in price. You see everyone is speaking about this, right? So you can also assume that many people who speak about this also buy it. So the case is that some people who didn't get the flow right, I mean different operators and so on, they didn't get the flow right, and they just don't see that people are not paying them with cryptocurrency. They have a feeling that just nobody wants to pay with cryptocurrency. I saw examples when it required 12 clicks to deposit cryptocurrency to the online casino. So the less clicks you have, the easier for the player to get there, because of course none of them are geniuses in cryptocurrency, so you should make it easy that they don't really have any space for a mistake. The second one would be offer payouts in crypto. Also, it might sound relatively obvious, but not all people who I speak with have this. So of course, the player who is coming to a casino, to the sports betting, or any other platform where he's supposed to get money back, you need to offer the payouts in the same payment method that they used to deposit. For cryptocurrency, is very important. I know that players do really check what are the conditions and if there's an option to withdraw crypto before even depositing with cryptocurrency. The third one, I would say it would be instant operations. Why I even speaking about this? Cryptocurrency, as I mentioned, is not a company, right? It's the technology. And technology itself involves blockchain. And in the end, the blockchain is a decentralized ledger. And to synchronize the transaction between the nodes, the servers of the network, it usually requires some time. And also, the ones of you who heard about crypto or try to dig in, you know about mining confirmations, transactions being accepted into the block, and so on. For Bitcoin, it takes from 10 minutes, right? On average, it was supposed to be 5, but right now it's much more because of all the hype around Bitcoin. But provider like us, for example, we have the tools to allow instant operations. So the customer sending you Bitcoin don't have to wait for confirmations. We clear the transaction for you. Your player will receive it on the website in just a few seconds, and you already have the money cleared on your account. So if we compare about acquiring, where you get settlements later, and then you have the amount of money in the rolling reserves, here you have the money right now before even the transaction is cleared in the blockchain. We are not the only one who are doing this, right? But I just say that this is very important for the players to be able to play immediately. Give a fair exchange rate. As I already briefly mentioned, some providers offering very low fees like 0.2%, 0.1%, or even zero completely. They make it seem like they are very cheap provider, but they then would add a hidden exchange rate into the price. And the case is that you have no control over this hidden margin, and your players might be surprised when they depositing 100 euros, but in the end, they had to pay 105, or if they sent you 100 and received 95. On the small amounts, it probably will not make any difference, but for the bigger players who I believe you value a lot, this might be a problem because they will see that they are being cheated. I'm saying this because some providers really will not even inform you about the margins, and it might create some tension on the later stage. Avoid additional registration, hosted pages, and redirections. This goes very much along with the first one, with the number of clicks. I saw some examples when the player clicks on cryptocurrency, he's been redirected to some page where he has to submit his email or something else. This also breaks the conversion a lot. So I would say the more natively it is in the interface, customers don't really have to enter anything else. He doesn't have to be redirected. This is the best way so far. Have a fair selection of assets. So you don't really need to have 100 or 200. 5 is enough. My selection would be Bitcoin, BCH, LTC, Litecoin, Ethereum, and USDT, which is a tether, which is a stable coin. It's usually price of this is usually 1-to-1 to dollar. Why you need a selection? Because Bitcoin, for example, when there is a high interest to this cryptocurrency, the network is a bit clogged. That means that transactions will be more expensive for the player to send you, and for you as the provider, as the operator, to clear this transaction. Of course, we will be clearing for you the transactions, but we will charge you the cost that it is actually was to basically accept this transaction. For Bitcoin, sometimes it's growing up to 3 euros for transaction, despite the size. So that is why for the small transactions or when the fees are high, you will see that your users will be using more lighter cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum, Litecoin, or BCH. So it's very important not to overdo the selection of assets, but it's also very important to offer more than just Bitcoin. I understand that Bitcoin, in majority of the cases, will still be the main one in the next year, probably, but we also see the slow shift because of the disadvantages of the Bitcoin itself. I just don't want to go deep into explaining why it is with the Bitcoin, just it is the oldest cryptocurrency and it is not entirely scalable. Organize promotion and incentivize players. So here, because cryptocurrency doesn't really have definition of fraud, it doesn't really have a chargebacks, about which we will speak a bit later as well. You can afford to incentivize your players to use cryptocurrency more. We see some companies who were mostly using only classical payment methods such as bank transfers, e-wallets, and credit cards and debit cards. They when they only enable cryptocurrency, they start some promotions, free spins, and whatever. It also helps for the players. And also here, just in the end, I would like just to say that in the end, if you think about why even we are speaking here about accepting cryptocurrency in the casino and why gamblers love cryptocurrency, I have a theory. It's kind of also logical and might sound obvious because cryptocurrency is fluctuating in price. Gamblers who like to risk with their money, you can understand that gambling with cryptocurrencies on trading for them is also pretty much close to their spirit, I would say. So gamblers are basically the very important group of users who just love cryptocurrency. So if you do it right, you will just see that a fair percent of all your deposits will shift to cryptocurrency, and you can even save money and decrease your risks. So what values cryptocurrencies bring to business, right? Why it is even better to accept cryptocurrency? So it's international, right? I mean, any of you who run international brands, I mean, of course, if you run only a local brand, it might not create such a big impact on your processing because you probably have all the local payment methods, and this advantage probably doesn't apply to you. But brands who target different markets, who have the selection of the languages on your website, you probably know the headache of integrating different payment methods for different regions, or at least dealing with them, controlling the settlements from them, and so on. With cryptocurrency is international, right? You can buy cryptocurrency in any country of the world, right? You can do in Africa, where the unbanked population is quite significant. They can buy cryptocurrency with the pesa and whatever. You can buy cryptocurrency in China, you can buy cryptocurrency in Japan, in Australia, in Latin America, basically anywhere. So it basically gives you access to all the areas. You can argue about adoption, right? But this is what is increasing all the time. Right now, when I started in 2013, basically speaking about cryptocurrency was like, what is this? We never heard about this. Right now, everybody heard about this, and just to Google how to buy it is not a big deal. It's risk-free, right? So here I would like to specify that I'm speaking both about the fraud, chargebacks, and price fluctuations. Some merchants are a bit afraid to accept cryptocurrency because they think that now you receive one Bitcoin and tomorrow this Bitcoin will decrease in price. It's completely not how it works, right? So usually when you receive cryptocurrency as a payment, your provider will immediately exchange it into the currency that you need, right? There might be an option if you, for example, run Bitcoin casino, right, and all your balances are in Bitcoin, all your game providers support Bitcoin, then its price doesn't really matter. But majority of our clients and majority of the big casinos, they are not entirely crypto casinos, right? They have fiat balances. So here, all the cryptocurrency which are being deposited are immediately exchanged into the currency of the balance of the customer. right? So there is no risk on the price. You receive money basically in euros, in USD, in GBP. And chargebacks, because of the nature of cryptocurrency, cryptocurrency is irreversible, right? Because of the blockchain that you all well heard about, blockchain doesn't support the definition of just getting money back, right? The only way to get a chargeback is to ask the one who you send the money to return you back, right? So it's more like a refund than the chargeback. So cryptocurrency is irreversible. That is just not in technology to reverse it. It's limitless, right? So basically, you can accept any amounts that you like. For some providers, it is even a problem because you literally cannot control the amount that the customer might send you. So here it is relatively similar to the bank account, right? So that if the customer knows your IBAN, he can send you any amount. With cryptocurrency, it's pretty much the same. They can send you any amount they want, when they want, and so on. If you impose the limits on your side, of course, they will not be credited, but technologically wise, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies just simply have no limits. So you can move any sort of amounts through the blockchain. It's quick, right? As I said, it's relatively instant. Some cryptocurrencies are instant by design. Some of them need some tweaking, like Bitcoin, for example. But in the end, this is more like an instant deposit or withdrawal method. It's transparent. So basically, it's for some it is an advantage, for some it is disadvantage, right? Because blockchain is a decentralized ledger. So clients mostly will be writing you in support, hey, you see, I sent you the money, right? And sending you the public link from some blockchain explorer. It's more good, right? For example, when you send a withdrawal to the player, you can see always in the blockchain what happened with the withdrawal. If player says, I didn't receive the money, everything is on the blockchain. So I would say I see a lot of advantages in this. It's much easier when you can just see what is happening in the payment system, rather than this just being a black box. Decentralized, the main advantage, it cannot really be blocked, right? There is no organization which can be closed, fined, blocked, and whatever. So cryptocurrency is a technology, right? It's decentralized. It doesn't have an office. It doesn't have the CEO, a manager, a legal department, nothing, right? It's just the technology which help you to send assets and some value over the internet. For relatively high risk businesses is of course the advantage, because you cannot just say, oh, you're not allowed to accept credit cards in UK. So it is more of an advantage in crypto, and that is one of the reasons why we think it's working relatively well in iGaming. Now I will tell you some less obvious hints about cryptocurrency. So we still have time. So exclusive tips to boost revenues with digital currencies. So here, guys, basically the implementation is a key, right? So you have to have a really good flow and less amount of clicks. Then you have to rethink about how you do marketing and affiliation, because cryptocurrency users, they usually read news about cryptocurrency. They usually will be looking for the price forecasts on the different websites. They will be reading some analytics and so on. They will be speaking on the forums, discussing new technologies and so on. So all your affiliation and banners and whatever you do, you can just open new channels of communication with potential clients, right? So here is much easier for you to get those people, because still the community right now, I think slightly below 100 million, right? It was 32 years ago. Right now, I think it's slightly over 50, but still below 100. So this user group is available. Most of them do speak English, right? Because all the documentation, all the information is mostly in English. So you can pretty much easily get those players by just using specific marketing channels, special affiliates, and so on. Digital currency risks and how to stay safe. So here, as I already mentioned a lot of this, so you don't, in majority of the cases, I don't advise you to hold cryptocurrency. Of course, it can give huge gains, but it is also usually might be connected with the huge drops. So accumulating cryptocurrency, which fluctuates in price, is usually a bad idea. So I would say always hedge against Euro, USD, or whatever is the currency closer to your business. The second good advice that I would like to give is relatively widespread in any online business where you usually have payment providers. Try not to accumulate money on the payment providers, right? So always try to settle all the money that you have on top, right? Of course, if we speak about, for example, sports betting, of course you need to keep some reserves for the payouts, right? But everything which you feel like would not be used as a payouts, better to withdraw to your bank accounts. This is probably the advice for all the payment methods that you might use, for all the e-wallets that you might use. For cryptocurrency is especially important because of its irreversibility. So of course, when you deal with cryptocurrency, more people would want to commit some fraud and try to impersonate somebody and so on. So it's been in the crypto industry for many years, and you understand that irreversible asset can be a good method for accepting payments, but this is also a valuable asset to the bad guys. Expert tricks to reduce payment processing costs. It's very much goes along with all that I said before. So accepting cryptocurrency is cheaper. You have less legal risks and financial risks, right? Because you pretty much protected from the fines, right? Because there is no cryptocurrency authority which kind of will control what you do with cryptocurrency. The fees are lower, and what is also very much important here, that the amount when you collect payments with cryptocurrency, they would be sitting with provider for some time, right? And you can easily swap it again back into cryptocurrency. What we see happening a lot in iGaming, this is also might not really be obvious, but we see this a lot, and we also even incentivize our clients to do so and try to educate them, is that they pay their bills to affiliates, to game providers, to different freelancers and so on in cryptocurrency or in the tokens, right? They usually don't use Bitcoin or Ethereum. This is happening in USDT, and USDT is cryptocurrency, which is the price of of the token. It's not really a cryptocurrency, is 1-to-1 to dollar. So we see that businesses use it a lot, and basically you save money on settling to your bank accounts, to the payment providers and so on, and then sending them back. So here you can save on the hassle, you can save on the costs, and also in the time, right? Because sending payments in USDT is pretty much instant. If you want to do it through the bank, this will take probably another day to settle the money to the bank and another day to send money to your provider. So here you can have kind of like everything in one place. So I used to see this as you have like alternative financial system where you can just send money instantly all over the world without really having to deal with SWIFT and so on. So what are the changes in digital payments in 2021? So from what we see, right now the regulations are coming more and more to cryptocurrency, more dictating how you should deal with this, right? Whether you should do the KYC deeper for the bigger amounts in the cryptocurrency and so on. These changes in regulation are mostly to the companies who deal directly with cryptocurrency and with users, right? So who sell cryptocurrency to users or receive cryptocurrency from users. The European Parliament in Brussels right now will be releasing the regulation very much soon. There are some currencies in European Union and all over the world who already issued some kind of the guidelines to work with cryptocurrencies. And what is more interesting, we see that some of the governments and central banks are planning to release their own analogs of cryptocurrency. They might be using some kind of a blockchains, but not the public ones, but rather private ones, to basically issue these digital currencies issued by central bank to the customers, to basically to the citizens of the country, and basically replacing the Visa and Master in the payments through the country, right? So here the government and the central bank will be saving a lot of the overheads on the clearings and on the fees that they have to pay for the hard schemes and so on. If you follow this industry, you know that a lot of the countries they issue their own local type of cards. In Germany, this is AC. In Russia, it's another one, and so on. So some of the countries are trying to avoid this, but now when you can just issue the currency, which will live in each in the phone, right? And you can pay just by scanning the QR when you go to the tube or the underground, in the shops, in the supermarkets, and so on, right? So this will replace the need for the cards. I mean, for those of you, for example, who live in the Netherlands or in London, you already know that you can do all these actions with the card, right? You can basically do the tap pay anywhere, right? In majority of the countries, it's not like that, right? For example, I'm in Indonesia. They always take your card and insert the card in the terminal and ask you to enter the PIN code for any amounts, right? It's kind of like not the way to go, and it's also not free for the merchants. If this would be such a system, China right now is working extremely actively on CBDC. They even installing the ATMs, which will support this technology, and they basically pretty much have the tests already completed. So soon there will be a yuan in the way to work like cryptocurrency. And you know that China economy is huge. If this is the successful example, then we expect in 2021 to hear a lot of announcements in this area. That's basically all I wanted to say. So here I just would like to engage basically all of you before we go to the questions, right? So anything which I told today is something that I learned through the years working with cryptocurrency, right? So the most important things I already showed you. So please contact us when you want to start working with cryptocurrency. If you want to expand your cooperation and you already work with us, such as you want to bring new brands, or you have friends asking you what's the best way to do so. If you want to improve your flows, if you already work with cryptocurrency, but you feel it might be improved. If you want to start a new business with cryptocurrency, we also have the tools to help you. I mean, if you're well connected, maybe an affiliate or so on, and I don't know, you can introduce us to clients. We're happy to share the revenue sharing model. If you work at the gateways at the different providers, maybe you want to become an ambassador of the brand. If you have some new ideas that we can do together, you need to buy, sell big amounts, OTC and whatever, or you curious just to do something with us, I don't know, or launch some projects or just discuss some ideas, we are always open. On our website, cryptoprocessing.com, and on the coinspay.com, you can see the forms how to engage with us. And if you like to start working with us, please contact Irina. Her email is on the screen right now. She's our head of sales. She knows everything about cryptocurrency, how to integrate it in the different business models. So she will help you in no time. Yeah, so we did it in 41 minutes, almost as I planned. So guys, here, for those of you who are staying for the questions and have some questions, please write them down. For those who don't want to stay for the QA, I wish you all great afternoon, and thank you very much for joining. And those who would like to discuss the questions, here we go. So I have the question one. What do you feel would help drive adoption of cryptocurrency in more countries? Yes, this is already happening, right? When we see a lot of controls from the government, right? For example, right now you probably see this in the social media all over the world, right? In US is also involved in this because of the crisis caused by the COVID. What we see that the governments and central banks are trying to solve the holes in the budgets to help businesses and whatever, and they just do print new money, right? And we all understand that printing new money is basically decreasing um, the buying potential of the currency. I'm not sure what's the name of this in English, but basically they are dissolving your money that you hold. And of course, people who have capital, right, or some just people who understand how economies work and how finance work, they just want to go somewhere where there is no control over the government over the value of their assets. Some people would be buying gold, some of them would be buying cryptocurrency. That is what we already see happening, right? You see this spike in the price. I mean, for those who are not aware, Bitcoin hit $42K just over the weekend. Before that, the top was almost 20. It was not even 20, right? It's all about this kind of rumors and the panic on the market. What helps the adoption as well are the businesses who accept cryptocurrency. So the more people see that they can use their cryptocurrency, they will not only use cryptocurrency for storing funds and for investment, they will already use more cryptocurrency more and more to pay for goods and use them in everyday life, right? For example, I use cryptocurrency quite a lot. I pay for the phone, I pay for a lot of the services that I use in cryptocurrency. There are websites which help you do so. You can buy vouchers, I don't know, for different shop networks, I don't know, for Amazon, for PlayStation Store. You can fund any phone number or the most of internet providers over with cryptocurrency all over the world, right? It's just happening. So again, to summarize, the services which help to work with cryptocurrency and merchants who accept cryptocurrency and bad news from the governments and banks. This is what drives the adoption. So question number 2, have you seen any examples of the mainstream payment processing business successfully expanding into crypto? Who do you feel is pioneering this? Or will it be the crypto-focused business growing into leaders and drive the growth? Yes, so big players still kind of not sure about cryptocurrency, but payment processing businesses, for example, the PayPal, they had some nice deals with US exchanges. Right now, they made a lot of money on cryptocurrency. The Revolut in Europe, I think they are in the UK, but now they moved more to Lithuania. I believe most of you know Revolut. They have cryptocurrency investment, and they also reported a huge spike in the transactions, right? So we see this already happening, right? I don't think that the new player will suddenly become huge, right? But there are also some companies in crypto industry which are worth billion, right? So the unicorns. So I would say this is kind of like a mix for now. So the more big guys accepting cryptocurrency, supporting cryptocurrency, then new platforms grow, such as we, for example, right? We process, I didn't mention it before, I think, we process 3% of all Bitcoin transactions in the world, right? So every 33rd transaction sent in Bitcoin are processed by us. So it is either transaction to our clients or from our clients, right? So this industry is still not extremely huge, right? We're speak most right now about 100 million people who are using this, and probably at thousands or tens of the thousands businesses using it. So the adoption is coming. We will see how quickly check crypto focused business growing into leaders. It's both, yes. So the big ones accepting and the crypto focused brands are growing and basically becoming a payment method, or the just integrates with the different brokers and so on. So it's happening. Question 3, with CoinSpend, can user choose which network they send the token over? For example, USDT on Ethereum network or the Tron network? Yes, exactly. Exactly. So we support USDT on 3 blockchains right now. It's Ethereum, it's Tron, and Omni, which is Bitcoin, which is now relatively unpopular. I think it was the first one where it was supported. So yes, but we didn't make it like a selection. We did them as a different assets, right? So we have an asset which is on Ethereum network, and an asset which is on the Tron network, and an asset which is on blockchain one, right? So the customer is able to select which one they want to buy, in which one they want to select to have the payout, or in which network they want to make a deposit. So yeah, we do support 3. We will see if we need to support more or not. Can you tell us more about how my funds are protected, which are stored in the merchant account? What about cold wallet? Do you have one? Yes, security in cryptocurrency space is of course a key element, right? So we have a lot of the levels of security, right? So number one, the merchant will have to sign each request. I mean, the client will have to sign each request, any change in the settings, any withdrawal with the token from the phone. We like from the Google Authenticator or similar ones. So you have to confirm that. Then we have a system which controls which monitors unusual activity. So if suddenly a client or a merchant withdraws more than they usually withdraw, this transaction will be stuck for a manual approval. So if, for example, API keys were stolen or somehow and there wasn't whitelisted IP. So this system also protects. Then with the IP, we have the whitelisting, right? So if you use us through the API, and majority of the merchants using us through the API, we can have the whitelisting of IPs, right? So we will be listing your requests only from the certain IP. So even if you leak the keys, your keys are stolen, I don't know, or sold, by your employees or the previous employees, you are still protected. On top of this, we have a system which monitors in the hosting that we have unusual requests on the ports which clients should not use. So checks if we are being hacked or so on. And on top of this, we have security audits. We have few of them from the different companies with the focuses also different. So we have the audit from the White Hackers and from Kaspersky Security Lab. We plan to do more in the future. So pretty much every quarter when we release new functionality and so on, we order in security audit. And we even have a cold wallet. So the majority of the customer funds are in the cold wallet. When I say majority, I mean sometimes when the client just deposited funds, we usually deal with the cold wallet approximately once a day, right? So we see if the amount of cryptocurrencies are more than we need in the nearest future, we would send them to the cold wallet. The cold wallet is an offline storage where we need few people to unlock the funds. I do not want to go into the details because it's kind of like the idea of the cold wallet that nobody really knows where it is and who has access to it. So yeah, I think we do all we can, right? And we continue investing in security of the merchant funds, but as we all know, there is no limit, kind of like to the security, right? You can always improve it, and at the same time, it's never enough. So question number 5, would you say that players prefer pure crypto casino where they play only in cryptos, or give, for example, USDT to be able to play more premium games? Very good question. It's a very good question. So the best option, you would not believe, is the mix. So when you have crypto balances, so for people who want to gamble in crypto, of course, some premium games, as was asked, they mostly, so majority of the premium games don't support cryptocurrency as an asset for games. There are some tweaks how you can play with it. I will now explain it. So I would say purely crypto casinos, you will have the problem with the content. This is unfortunately true. So when you want to give access to the content and also satisfy the players who want to gamble with Bitcoin or Ethereum, you just have to have different balances, and the customer will just be selecting in which balance he would like to play, right? So those who like more gambling in Bitcoin, they will deal with the lack of the content. And the tweak that I wanted to say, basically, even when the balance is in Bitcoin, you can kind of recalculate how much it would be in euro, for example, for the game session, right? So for example, he will click on the Bitcoin and say that he wants to play the game which doesn't support Bitcoin. You can ask which amount you would like to enter into the game. He says, for example, 20 euros. You recalculate how many Bitcoins is 20 euros. He plays, and then you either recalculate back if he won, or you just deduct that amount forever if he lost. It unfortunately needs some tweaks in the system. I believe that majority of the casinos will not allow this. I mean casino software. But those players who are dealing with cryptocurrency professionally, they have these options to allow play premium games. That is a very good question, by the way. What difficulties compared to fiat currency transactions do you see for operators when it comes to upholding good KYC ML standards and tracing the origin of the funds? Okay, we have a strike of good questions. So with the KYC, there is no difference, right? So if you do KYC for players, you should do KYC for players who deal with cryptocurrency. If you ask your players for the source of funds when they deposit over a certain amount, you can do the same with cryptocurrency. They can provide you where they bought cryptocurrency and for which money, right? Or at least prove you that they bought this cryptocurrency a few years ago and it increased in price. They can always show it on the blockchain. It's more of a question if you would be okay with the proofs. Origin of funds in cryptocurrency is much easier than in other payment methods, right? Because it is blockchain, it is open network, right? As I mentioned before. I will, by the way, switch off the presentation. Yeah, so tracing origin of the funds, it's basically possible, right? So so we have it under the hood already. So for each transaction, you will have a score rate, which you can see in the back office. The score rate is provided through the API as well. So you can navigate to the back office to select the transactions which interest you. Click on the button and you will see how many percentages of this money connected with which source of funds. So you will see that this percentage is coming from this exchange, this percentage is coming from that exchange, this percentage is coming from the darknet, from the marketplaces where you don't want to receive the funds and so on. So it's based on the clusterization system, right? So you can have a snapshot of all the addresses, and by analyzing the history of the transactions before, you can basically clusterize the whole blockchain. So you can see that this amount of addresses belong to this company, right? And based on who this company is, you can basically structure the score rating, right? So when the money are coming from that place or to that place, you will see this in the back office. If you want to do more, you can add different providers and so on. So it's not a big deal in the end, right? Cryptocurrency is still assets, it's still money, right? You can still control who owns it, where it's coming from, right, and where the customer got them, right? So you can basically do whatever you do already, but with cryptocurrency. With crypto, it's even easier in some sense because you don't have to contact different providers and so on. You can just see everything. It's an open book. Chargebacks. Yeah, so basically, as I said, right, with crypto, there are no chargebacks. So who sent you the money, right, he cannot just lose the money and just say, I want my money back, right? So it's the beauty of the blockchain, right? So you can have to deal still with unhappy players, right? If we speak about gaming, I believe that it always happens, right? You always have players who say, "Oh, the game was unfair and whatever." I don't really know what to do with this, but at least they cannot go to the bank and say, "Return me my money," right? There is no such tool. Yes, and the last question we have time for is quite a long one. Regulators such as UK Gambling Commission require us to verify the source of the player funds to ensure that they are not emanating from criminal activity. Is it possible to regulate crypto in such way so that the player could show us the proof of where the funds have come from? Or is it the very nature of crypto something that limits? No, what I say that crypto doesn't limit this possibility. So client can prove where he got those funds from, right? So there are not so many ways to get cryptocurrency, right? You can either mine it, and then you have to basically have a bills for buying mining equipment, right? It can be a source of funds already, right? I bought equipment, I mined, and he can show you. It's more about how are you ready to accept these proofs, right? In the end, we can teach you how to read those proofs, right? Because we do the same. And then you can earn it, right? So somebody can pay you in cryptocurrency, and then you have it. So you can ask for the invoices, right? Who sent him this money and why? And if he bought it, right, when he bought, he should have some receipts on the bank statements, on the card statements, and so on, right? If the customer cannot provide you any information where he got his cryptocurrency, then the chances are high that he stole it, right? Majority of the people can prove where they have cryptocurrency. When I was asked where I have cryptocurrency, I was always able to support it with some explanations or documentations where I got them. You just cannot get cryptocurrency from anywhere without leaving some documental traces and whatever. So it's more like how you do it for the different methods. You should do with crypto in the same way, just probably just ask for the different documents, right? It's on the compliance department. Depends how open is the compliance department for the new things. You can speak with us. We can think about this together. No problem. Yes, so the moderator is writing that we have a lot of questions, and guys, thank you very much. That was really great that you had questions. We are running out of time, unfortunately, so I wanted to thank you all again for joining, for asking questions, for being today with us. And again, right, if you would like to continue our discussion and become our clients, ask any additional questions and so on, please go to cryptoprocessing.com or to the CoinSpate website. We have the forms there. You can fill them in. Our employees will be in touch with you in no time, and we can solve everything together. Again, thanks a lot, everyone, and have a great afternoon.